cutting down 2 nets, conference tournament champions, Midwest regional champions, and going to a Final Four. That's a heck of an accomplishment for this group of kids. So proud of them. Locker room was really emotional. Those guys invested a lot in this, but we ran into a really good team tonight. Didn't play well, and that team we played had a lot to do with it.
Thank you, Coach. Now we will go to questions from the media. Use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. When called upon, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question will be from Brian Smith of the Houston Chronicle. Brian, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Kelvin, Brian Smith, Houston Chronicle. What does it mean for this program with everything that you're building and the previous teams, for you guys to reach this stage, to be one of 4 teams left in the NCAA tournament? Because, there's this season, but there's also what you were building the last few years and what you're going to continue to build, and what this can do for the University of Houston basketball.
I think we needed to get further. This potentially could have been the 3rd straight year of a Sweet 16. If the kid doesn't hit that great shot he made, fortunate shot against Michigan, that could have been a Sweet 16. The next year against Kentucky, a Sweet 16, and then this year, Sweet 16. But getting the next step, once we got to the Elite 8, that's where you want your program to be. You want it to improve, to get better. I know how difficult it is to get to a Final Four. One of my really, really good friends is Gene Cady from Purdue. He had a Hall of Fame coaching career, and he never went to one Final Four. That shows you how difficult it is. John Chaney, Temple Hall of Famer, never went to one Final Four. So just say, well, next year you can get back to the Final Four. May never go to another Final Four. Those are hard to get to. Look at all the teams that's never been to one. You don't ever think those things are, they owe you. That, well, we got to one, we can get to another one. Maybe, maybe not. That's why you focus on the things you can control, and keep recruiting good kids. Work on improving your roster, establishing chemistry, keep creating the right kind of culture with the right kind of kids, and who knows, you may. But this was an important year for us because we had a good team. The team we had this year was capable of getting to the next step. The teams we beat, Rutgers, Syracuse, Oregon State, those teams beat good teams. Oregon State beat Oklahoma State. Oregon State beat Tennessee and Loyola Chicago. Loyola Chicago beat Illinois. But we beat the team that beat all of them. That gave us great credibility. So I understand your question, Brian. But getting to the Elite 8 was a great accomplishment. That's what I wanted for this program, for this group of kids. I wanted them to get to the next step. Getting to the Final Four, you don't ever plan on that. If you did, the 4 1 seeds would get there. Michigan had a heck of a year. Illinois was outstanding. They were 1 seeds, but they didn't make the Final Four because you never know. You got to be good. You got to play good on that night. But so impressed with Baylor. I keep going back to them. Butler, Mitchell, Teague, Flagler, Mayer. I don't think I've seen a team with 5 guards at that level. No drop-off. And they were good at both ends. That's why I was proud of our kids the second half. I get people will rationalize why we came back the second half. I get that. But we did. And that wasn't easy to do. That was an emotional locker room at halftime, and we came out of the locker room and our kids competed. But Baylor is clearly the best team that we've played. They may be the best team we've played in the 7 years I've been here. I'm trying to think who's been better than them. I don't want to slide anybody. I just can't remember. And we've beaten a lot of good teams. We've beaten Oregon, LSU, Arkansas, Ohio State, a lot of teams. That's the best team that I've seen in the 7 years I've been at Houston. They're really, really good.
Our next question.
Kelvin Sampson has certainly turned Houston into a perennial powerhouse, leading them to a 28-4 record and a trip to the Final Four. Led Oklahoma to the Final Four in 2002, lost to Indiana in that game. But hey, a heck of a season for Kelvin Sampson, and the Cougars just didn't live up to expectations in the Final Four against a very good Baylor squad. But you can bet your bottom dollar that Kelvin Sampson and the Cougars will be back next season on the prowl, looking to get back to the Final Four. That Final Four will be in New Orleans, and you know it won't be easy for any of those teams, but certainly Kelvin Sampson gives Houston a chance each and every year there in Houston, Texas.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.